No, because all I got to prep you for is it started. We're live. So this is federal prison talk or any kind of talk, really.
Well, we're live. I'll let you host your show.
This is Life After Prison, guys. Yeah, Life After Prison. I prepared for it. Did you prepare for your life before you got out of prison?
Well, I did. As you well know, you and I were serving time together. This is not our first rodeo, either one of us, on this programming. And I definitely prepared my life to carry on after. But there's some realizations that we have to realize before we can actually do that. My paper kills in about 3 weeks. And there's a lot of things that we need there's a lot of things we need to worry about, Sean, in our paper dying, and I don't think a lot of people think about it, you know. Can you raise your camera up just a little up? Maybe it's on my side.
Let me go do it.
Oh, it's on my side, dude. I'm good. It's my camera.
Okay, well.
There we go. I can now see.
All right, I wanted to change it anyway.
Yeah, it was my camera. Anyway.
Yeah, I had I had a monitor in the way too.
Okay. Hey, you look pretty good, by the way.
You know, it's like having a dog on a leash in your backyard. What? Oh. Hey, 90 pounds lighter than prison. You would have thought I took all that time in prison to lose weight. I didn't. I worked on my mind, though.
Well, at that time, you weren't ready to. But let's talk a little bit about when you're preparing to release completely. There's a lot of things that people go through, and I don't think they actually consider them because they're all too busy being tough guys. I'm going to go to jail. If they're not tough guys, then they're really worried on the other side.
They have re-entry programs at prison. You don't have to worry about it.
I'm sorry?
I was going to say, with all the re-entry prisons that they have, with all the re-entry classes and programs you have to take in prison, you don't worry about it. They take care of that for you.
Oh, yeah. I remember.
That's sarcasm.
Yeah. Oh, no. I remember they had exactly on the roster, they had exactly 0 listed. I think the one that was there the most was, we're going to violate you. And you're going to get 10 more years, 5 more years, 2 more years, 3 more. I remember that program. I don't remember anything else for reentry. So let's talk about that for a second, because I'm about to get off my paper.
You had to fill out. Well, they had a. Yeah. Well, you had to learn how to fill out an application for a job, an application for an apartment, and one for a bank account. And,
that you're never going to get.
If you didn't do those 3 more. Yeah, you're never going to go. But instead, you just give the education guy like 4 tunas. Remember?
Yeah, I remember him. He didn't know his ass from a hole in the ground. So let's talk about how to rectify all that. So let's go back to the beginning.
Yeah,
my release
realistically, and they had a little job kiosk thing.
How are you going to have a job kiosk and a job fair when everything, including the interviewers who are offering the jobs, are inmates? For real. It's called placebo training, okay? Let's make you happy and think, because you have nothing else to look forward to. Let me finish this. So you have nothing else to look forward to. We're going to give you placebo training. Here's an inmate who's going to be here for the next 10 years, and because he's been a good boy for the last 5, we're going to let him be a counselor for the day and act like he's an employer of a massive manufacturing company, and they're going to interview for your job. So all the paperwork that you fill out means absolutely nothing, because it just goes in the garbage can at the end of the class. It's to make you feel like something's going on. The only person who's going to make it go on for you is you. They're not going to do shit for you, no matter what you say, except make sure they get you into the halfway house. And by the way, my halfway house, look at me. My halfway house was South Central Boulevard, Compton, California. That was me.
You blended right in. I'm sure.
How many jobs were available for an elderly white male with gray hair in South Central that did center of Compton, California, site of the mid-'80s riots that destroyed half of the freaking city of LA. Yeah, they definitely have your interest at heart. But let's not be bitter. Let's do this. Let's go to the process and come forward. You're getting ready.
Let's not be bitter.
No, because a lot was learned from this process, and a lot can be taught to others. So we look at the bright side and learn from it. That's how we make our lives work. We, as children, our parents bring us into this world with an empty head. They put stuff into that head to help us get through life. And as we get older, we learn a little bit more. We learn a little bit more. But none of us are ever taught about going to prison. We're taught, oh, you don't want to do that. But we don't know why we don't want to do it. We just don't want to do it. Well, some of us have gone, and now we know. And now we know the truth of what goes on and how it goes on. And it's the biggest waste of our time we could ever possibly have. In some instances, it can save your life. It did mine. It did yours, Sean. We got onto different tracks. We learned different things. Yeah. We slowed our pace down. We made our hearts work better, so we didn't blow them out and have heart attacks or die of, cancer or some other off-the-hook thing. But let's talk about the realities, because I'm off paper here shortly, which means I'm back in the full-blown real world, but I'm never going to get back into the full-blown real world because it doesn't exist for ex-felons. Lawrence Mendoza, what's up?
Got one of your friends on the line there.
I see it. Yeah, I see it.
The guy we did time with.
Yep, and I just acknowledged him. Larry, I hope you don't mind I don't type. I want to get this out of the way. I want to say what I got to say. All you people out there who are getting ready to go to prison or getting ready to get out, pay attention. I'm not making any money doing this. I don't have any alternative motives. I just have one thing, and that is to help you. So let's get it done. You're in prison. You're finishing a 5-year sentence. And for those of you who don't understand, yes, Larry, I know who this is. Does he want me to break everything and type to him? No, I can't. I'm not going to break. I'm not doing that.
Sometimes
hi, Larry.
He has selective hearing.
Yep. Anyway, you're getting ready to come out, and a 5-year sentence will say, gentlemen, anytime you serve more than 3 years, you might as well come out single because there's not going to be anyone there for you. 87% of the people who are married or have relationships that are solid and do more than 3 years and under 10 have nothing to come out to. Their loved ones have lost confidence and faith in them. They've lost confidence and faith in themselves. They've moved on. Children have been taught to ignore because you are a pariah to the public. So 87% move on. You are in this alone. Now, prison population, just to give you an interesting factoid, currently in the United States, 1 out of every 234 people either know directly or through a second party a person who has gone to prison. That should scare the hell out of you considering the population base of the United States. That is how proficient our legal system is in enforcing our truly admirable laws that the rest of the world looks at. In short, we have produced the capability to very safely say that 1/3 of the population of the United States of America has served time. Any argument?
Chris, I believe that correctionals and law enforcement is the second largest industry in this country. We'll call it an industry. What do you think the first one is?
Oh, the first one's lawyers.
No. That's all. I include that all in the law enforcement, legal, courts, all that. Number 2, the first one.
What would be the first
pharmaceutical.
One, Sean? I really don't know. What would be the first one?
Pharmaceutical.
So we manufacture the drugs that put everybody in prison except for those who don't take it. Cool.
Works for me. Anyone that doesn't have a prescription prescribed? I can't think of any person I've ever ran into that doesn't take a prescription of something.
Nuts, isn't it? It's like, well, we're not going to go there because that might get me in trouble. So we're going to back out of that for a second. Let's go back to you're coming out of prison.
But let's say correctionals. It could be the number one. Correctionals, law enforcement, lawyers, the court system. You put it all together. Maybe it is the largest. And that's, wow. I mean, that's sad. That's what runs a country. You know?
Yeah. Considering that we ship some of our inmates overseas and they ship theirs overseas, I guess why not? But it's also the same system that allows the current activities of former public officials. How much time will that man serve? We're not going to even bother with that. We're going to go back and we're going to start from the beginning. We're going to talk about you're getting ready to leave prison after a 5-year sentence. They take you from, if you've been in a camp, they're going to take you to a medium security prison, and they're going to process you out. You're going to fill out some paperwork. They're going to give you a card, a debit card, that's issued by a really low-life bank.
Oh, yeah.
And it works in half of the places that you use it. And, of course, getting out of prison, I had this conversation with Sean yesterday. It's like you come out, you get on the bus after you've processed out, and you got a pair of baggy-ass jeans on that are the cheapest thing that Walmart won't even sell. And who were they made by, Sean? Do you remember? He had a TV show for years.
Unicorn.
No.
Unicorn. Oh. Bob Barker.
That's right. Bob Barker. Price is Right. Amazing how those influences work, but you get what you pay for. So you got a shitty T-shirt. You got a jacket that's prison issue that anybody could see. It's like wearing a military jacket from the 1950s. And a pair of baggy jeans, and you got your Boondocks, or you got a pair of sneakers that you bought while you were in prison, which, by the way, are the same sneakers that everybody else doesn't buy because these are the seconds that they issue out. So reality is you hit the street. You get in the van. They drive you down to the bus station. You're standing in the bus station, and you're fearful as hell of walking more than 200 yards out of the bus station because you don't know if you're allowed to do it because you've been conditioned to not do or go anywhere you're not supposed to go. So you're already at a disadvantage. You're already afraid of what? Of the general public. They've done that good of a job in that short of a period of time to make you feel uncomfortable to walk more than 100 or 200 yards away from the public bus station that you've been dropped off in so that you can catch a lift back to what area you're going to be going to your halfway house. So now you get on the bus, you got your little debit card with whatever amount they give you, $50, whatever it is, so that you can eat or drink something on the way, which turns into shit. And I remember what you did, Sean. Straight away, you went to an Arby's. I think it was an Arby's. You even researched the place.
Yeah, well, you watched those
researched it before you left prison. Anyway, good job. But anyhow,
it was on my list.
Yeah. Dying for something from the real world that soon. But anyway, you get all that done. You get on the bus. You take that long, beautiful ride with nothing but wonderful people surrounding you. And then you realize that on that bus, out of all those wonderful people that are surrounding you, there's at least 6 more people just like you. Male, female, old, young. They're being released from multiple prisons in that state, and they're being transported to wherever the state is they're being transported to. That's right, Larry, it is true. And on that bus, you always have a few of them that are bonehead, dumbass sons of bitches. They're sitting in the back of the bus, smoking a joint, and I haven't any idea how they got it. Because they got from the prison to the bus, so that means somebody met them at the bus station and handed off to
the bus terminal.
At the bus terminal, and they have learned nothing. So now you drive all the way, like in my case, it was from Colorado to California, with a bunch of potheads. Lovely. Since the whole state of California is a bunch of potheads, and it's legal now on state basis, but not federal,
Right.
What the hell? Might as well be on the bus with a bunch of drunks. So anyway, works out. You get here, and you've been given enough money to be able to get a taxi cab And it's amazing how they can figure that out from your point of landing to your halfway house and no further. So you jump in the taxi cab, you got exactly the right amount of money, and you get there. Everything is still controlled. Everything is still out of your reach.
That's how your trip went. I was 7 hours late.
Well, we were on time because we didn't have any
With
snow
no
on
phone
the
to
road.
call.
Yeah, how do you call? What's the cell phone that you don't have? That's right, you call on that one. Oh, better yet, ask the bus driver to borrow his. I'm dead certain the bus
Or ask
driver's
a
going to
passenger,
let
you just got out of prison, can I borrow your phone?
Yeah, the bus driver is definitely going to let you, a transporting felon, in his bus, sitting behind him, a phone. You bet. That happens daily. So now you get to your halfway house, they process
And
you in.
who do you call, Chris? The halfway house, you don't know the number.
Oh yeah, you get the number on your release papers along with all the rules that you got to follow, right? But you get there, they process
That
you,
number
they
they gave me was disconnected.
Oh, you know why? It's because they didn't pay the bill. Shit. I mean, come on. Or they got to sign a new one by BOP. But you get there, they make you wait for an hour or two, then they process you, and then you go into your dormitory room, which mine had 16 people. I was in there with Southsiders, with Bloods, with Crips, with Aryans, you name the gang, and it was in that room. And the entertainment for the night was for them to take their shirts off and show off their tattoos to each other and posture up without getting in a fight. I'm telling you, it's a lovely scenario.
Screen's frozen for some reason.
And I lived that way for 6 months. You're given now an opportunity. There we go. You're given an opportunity after 3 weeks and you haven't fucked up to get a job. So how do you get that job? If you don't have anybody on the outside, you can get a cell phone if they approve it now. They're not going to give you one. You can't talk on their phones because most of them are pay phones and you don't have any money. So finally you get somebody to get you a phone and you start using the phone and the internet to find a job. But you can't get the job that you had in the real world that supported you because you're a felon. So now the job you get is called a bullshit starter job that a high school senior gets. In California, that's $12 to $15 an hour.
Do you want fries for that order, or should I supersize it?
I beg your pardon? I'm sorry, Sean?
Do you want fries with that order, or would you like to supersize it? Do you want
won't
fries
hire
with that
you.
order, or should I supersize it?
They won't hire you because there's a cash register. And you're a felon and they're not going to trust you with their money. I don't give a shit who you are. So you're stuck getting a job where there's no money exchanging hands, which means in California and in most other states, manufacturing. You are a grunt worker. That's all you get. You take the hours they offer because you want to get out of that halfway house. And then you start putting your budget together, even though the halfway house will feed you 3 meals a day, but you get really tired of cheese sandwiches. You start putting your budget together if you know how to do one.
So I'll call a bunch of baloney too.
Yeah, some people have never been taught how to do a budget. Their budget is what they have in their pocket. And when it's gone, then they go commit another crime to get some more. But regardless, you deal with your budget that you have. And you dream about having a place to live because they're only going to let you stay there for 6 months, 3 months, whatever your term of release is. And then you got to leave. And they don't help you find a place. So I went to a sober living house. I searched it up, found it, and went there. And I lived with 6 guys, which is better than the 18 I was with, 16 to 18 on a good day. And I lived with a bunch of freaking nutballs. One of the guys in my halfway house was a paranoid schizophrenic. He walked around talking to the walls, shitting all over himself, pissing and crapping on the toilet and the toilet floor. leaving dirty dishes everywhere he could possibly find so that flies and shit would get around it. And we all shared one bathroom. Wasn't that just a joy? And that's in the general public.
Yeah.
It took me a year to get out
Yeah,
of it.
I had the same deal, Chris, and I had to pay $950 a month. Share a room with
Yep.
4 guys. Come on, really? Yep.
Los Angeles, they charged me $600 a month, and I thought I was getting off the hook. But I'm working as a baker for King's Hawaiian Bread, baking 250 loaves of bread per batch for $15 an hour. I'm not going anywhere fast. However, I had my Social Security check coming, and since I claimed my retirement late, because for most of you, you don't know me, I'm over 70 by a long shot. So I had money coming to me in a bulk figure because I had not claimed my mandatory retirement at 65. I did it at 68. And I used that money as a down payment for a car. So now I'm mobile, working in a dead-end job, looking for a little bit better job for a man my age. I found a little bit better job, not much better, but it was better. Unfortunately, I didn't speak a lot of Spanish. So communication was a little difficult, but we worked it out. And in the end, I worked that job for a little while, and I saved enough money to start exploring what nobody ever told me was out there. That's the resources that are available to inmates who are getting out, who don't know what's available for them out the gate, and they wouldn't have had to waste a year and a half like I did to find it. And I went to a place called the Department of Rehabilitation.
I want to hear these.
I'm sorry?
Oh, yeah.
I went to a place called...
I know about them. I know about them. Good place.
Department of Rehabilitation, and they paid for me to go to truck driving school. Okay, now I want you guys to hold on to your hats because this is a biggie. Now I'm a bona fide truck driver. I make $17 an hour driving a Class C 26-foot box truck all over the goddamn place. Because COVID struck, and now the backlog is starting to clear, I got scheduled now for my Class A license. Again, this is California, and this is the school that contracts to the DOR. And Sean, I want you to remember that word, contracts to the DOR, wings. We had that conversation yesterday about furthering on, growing, expanding how you would increase your capabilities to help others by political, sociological, socioeconomical, all these little lobbying tactics that grow and create opportunities for people like us. So now I'm going to be online for $21 an hour. Perfect. But look at the job. I have nobody looking over my shoulder. I get in my truck and I leave. And it's a truck. It's got air brakes. It's diesel. It's a big ass deal. Car gets in front of you. The car's totaled. It's that simple. You get, I don't know, a black and blue spot on your shoulder and it's done. So everybody's happy. It's still a truck. And I'm making a livable wage, barely. But I'm paying exorbitant fees in California. So what I look forward to is the fact that nobody ever tried to make all these things that are out there available to me. Everything I have today, I got on my own. I searched out DOR and got onto this. I searched out my medical benefits because I needed medical attention, because when I was in prison, I was diagnosed with a PSA rating of 8.9. Now, for those of you who don't understand the PSA rating system, because we're never really taught that, you have to self-educate. Again, something physical health that doesn't get taught to you, but maybe a nonprofit might open something along those lines. At that point, I had cancer. Didn't know it. And I had cancer for the first 2 years that I was released. They finally found that during a regular checkup on a prostate exam, and I no longer have cancer. Cancer-free. But in custody for another 2 years, I would have died from it because both Sean and I saw
Anybody could be
four.
Anybody could be Chris. I know it's going to be you.
Well, 6 of one, 12 of the other. But we saw 4 separate people. One was an ex-sheriff of a county who they sent home early on a 5-year sentence because he was terminal after 1 year in custody, and they couldn't want to treat him. And they didn't want him dying in the prison because they didn't want that on their record for failure to treat. It's a massive lawsuit. Yeah. Another guy, he was developing his cancer, which was already there. And he had 6 months to go. So they told him that they're going to let him go in 6 months because that's his release date. Nice Arab guy. Lives out here in California. Really nice guy. He may have lived. I don't know. It may have been too late. It was an aggressive form. Another guy died of a cerebral hemorrhage I remember him. Yeah. Remember that guy? Brought on by a fall that they didn't treat correctly. Another guy died of a respiratory issue. I mean, you go to prison. Go ahead, Sean.
I remember the one guy. He went to the medical room he went every day and asking for help, begging for help, and they wouldn't help him.
It's because it wasn't in their budget. Again, something that nonprofits can address if they have the right direction and they use the right tools to lobby or create a situation that allows for that to happen. You see, everything on the outside is going to be you. It's not going to be anybody else. If you don't go do it, you're not doing it. So I planned for my release. I told Sean the first time I met him, I'm not here to make friends. I'm not here looking for friends. I don't need friends. I just do my time and get the fuck out of here. And now I've been friends with this jamoke over here for quite some time now. But I planned my future, and Sean will tell you. He asked me what I'm going to do. I said, go ahead.
Chris, when you finished with your statement to all of us in line, how you're not there to make any friends and you don't even talk to me, guys. I don't want nothing to do with any of you. I said, I'm going to be best friends with this guy. Not best friends, but, you know.
And here we are, right along with Crazy Larry. But anyhow, long and short is I planned my future, and my future was that I was going to drive a truck. Because at that time, not knowing very much about it, what I saw was I'm the only person in the cab of that truck. I don't have to talk to anybody. I don't have to smell anybody. I don't have to deal with somebody's attitudes or problems. I just get in the truck and drive from point A to point B on time, drop the load, come back, pick up another load, drop it. Nobody to tell me what to do as long as I'm keeping my schedule. I don't have to share my thoughts with anybody. I don't have to be Mr. Corporal. I'm getting paid to see country. I'm burning somebody else's fuel, and it's peaceful. So that's what I did. But I did it. The prison system didn't do it. Friends and relatives can help you with certain things, and God bless you if you got them. But you're going to find that having trust factors in an ex-felon, especially if there's any money involved or if there's drugs involved, you're always going to be looked at as though you can't do anything. Now let's talk about something else that goes along with this. Now here comes this little thing called...
Hey, when you get a second, I want to add some information for the people out there.
Go ahead, add it in. Do it now. Do it now, Sean.
Okay, so I just wrapped up at work. I work for a nonprofit organization, guys, but one of my projects now is jobs for felons. I just put together, and I'm going to offer this to anybody who wants it for free because all I do is send an email back to you. There's a work opportunity tax credit for employers that hire you, and now it's good for 2 years in a row. They can get up to $96 back if they hire you. They basically get, for every dollar they spend on you, 25 cents back when they file their employer taxes. They can do that every quarter or once a year. And I have the package that goes with it. With it's 5 different forms. It looks complicated. It's really not. But I will send you the email package I sent to my coworkers. If you just put in a comment and put me your email, I will send you the packet. And if you're going to look for work, you hand this one paper to the employer. Hire me, you'll get $9,600 over the next 2 years. You'll get half of that the first year. What a great selling point. It's a golden ticket, I call it. Everybody else that's applying for that job, they can't offer money back if you're hired. So, and I got some more goodies that go with that email. So if you just give me your email, no question, no money, I send you the email back, and the instructions are all in there. And I think that's a great. You got one up on everybody else. So,
and that's a great idea. And I hope that a lot of guys call you on that. But I want you, young man, I want you to think about something else. I want you to think larger. I want you to think larger scale. When I was in my business, and guys, I'm going to tell you, my business was my second career. We're going to leave my first career out because a lot of you won't have much respect for me after that. My second career was banking.
We'll leave your first wife out of it too then.
Yeah, please. Let's do that. It was in banking. And I realized very quickly in banking that if you're going to make anything happen with investment programming, you need to own everything that the investment program touches. So let's say that you're going to have people invest in horseshoes. First, they're going to have a horse. So they got a horse. They have a need for the shoes. So you want them to invest in what? Horseshoes? Well, if that's the case, then you want to own the company that manufactures the different blanks of horseshoes. You want to own the company that supplies the ores and minerals that they use to melt and smelt the horseshoes. You want to hire and train the furriers that install the horseshoes, so you have a complete package. If you don't have a complete package, you're not in control of the investment or the opportunity that you're offering. So remember, you are the investment. You need to own everything about you so that you are a product that can be offered completely. As a nonprofit, if a nonprofit not only can apply for that tax credit to get you a job, why don't they own the job? How impossible is that? It's not. There are federal programs out there that allow somebody to become licensed to do the training. And now you are the trainer and you certify others to be trained in multiple industries. And guess what you're doing while you're doing that? You're charging a fee, just like a DOR, a Department of Rehabilitation. And now you're bringing in hundreds of thousands of dollars a month in teaching ex-cons how to cope with the bullshit that I've had to learn the hard way. At 72 years of age, I'm working for $15 goddamn an hour for real? Why? Because we can. Now, some of you may have, because not only can we, we're made to, because we're scarred. But if we had serious training from legitimate sources, we could lift ourselves up and be even more productive on a larger scale than what we are as a one-to-one scale. Now, the other side of this is if some of you have restitution, in my case, it's $3.1 million. Sean had a big one too. How the Sam hell am I going to pay $3.1 million back at $15 an hour, $17 an hour, $21 an hour? The other side that doesn't get mentioned to you, as soon as you're convicted and they save this until after you're in custody, you get sued by the IRS for the taxes that you still owe them while you're in custody for the taxes you didn't pay. For me, that's another $3 million. I wasn't supposed to have any further issues legally. It was in my deal. So much for that. So now the thing that you have to understand is you're paying restitution, even if it's $20 a month, or if you fail to pay it at all, they can come after you. They can seize your car. They can garnish your wages. They can take your house. They can do whatever they have to do in order to get you to make them a payment or settle the debt. So are you really free? You serve the time, but you were ordered for restitution. It's kind of like, I'm the judge and I'm going to sentence Sean here to 4 life sentences. He's only going to live for 1, but I'm going to punish him for 4 more. So that he never, ever is free of what he did wrong. 1/3 of the population of the United States of America has been in prison or jail, DUI, ticket, whatever. But also, that 1/3 of the population has business owners, employers. Why are they against you? Because somebody with a pretty face, you're looking, Sean, you got it, right? Pretty face. You're not making a comment, Sean. Pretty face has never approached them and say, hey, asswipe.
No.
I know about you. It's time for you to take and do the right thing. It's time for you to help other people who are in the same position that you were, Mr. Employer. Put some people to work. Let's develop that program. But everybody is so busy trying to hide what they are and how they got there. And the rest of the population is so busy looking down on you for that, that they make it extremely difficult for you to lift yourself up. Again, you have to do it yourself. You never stop. You never quit. You never give in. And you goddamn well never give them the satisfaction. You progress. You develop. You build. You become strong. That's how you do it. Sean, are you still connected?
Yeah, you're solo. I just put you on. I'm doing a camera thing. I made you solo for a minute.
So with that said, you progress yourself because you're the only one who will. Sean did it. Sean put together a little YouTube program to try and get some hits and make a few extra bucks to supplement himself. And all of a sudden he got seen by somebody. Yeah, this is funny too. He got seen by somebody and he was offered the opportunity to go to New Mexico and work for a nonprofit organization.
And not pay $3,000 a month for an apartment.
And not have to pay $3,000. I'm $2,400, so I'm not quite there yet because I don't have gold-plated faucets yet. But again, it doesn't end because my paper dies.
San Francisco's a little higher than San Diego, but they're close.
That's true. It's Los Angeles, not San Diego. That's okay. And this is not the place you want to live. Trust me.
Oh, I'm sorry.
That's okay. I mean, we're the only place in the world that has tropical storms and flooding and at the same time having an earthquake. How can you beat that? I mean, you want to talk about God taking a dump on somebody. I mean,
I'm throwing a hurricane.
While you're in the middle of hurricanes and tropical storms and it's downpouring and flooding everything in sight, you got cars stuck under underpasses that can't leave. You got people drowning everywhere. Let's throw an earthquake in there so that we can open up the earth and drain all the water. Sounds good to me. As long as my truck's not in the middle of that, I'm good. So let's talk about coming off paper. What is the fear of that? Should be a good time, right? Well, for most of us, we look at it a little bit more serious.
Let me say it like this. You got a dog. You have a dog that you've raised. I got a delay on here. I'm sorry. Chris, for me, it was like being a dog tied up in the backyard for, 4 years. Now they let me go to the front of the house, and for, 3 more years of probation. And now they just cut the leash. I don't know where to go. I ran off with some of the bad dogs in the neighborhood, and then I came back, and because I felt safe there. And it's like, I don't know. I've always lived on a leash. Sometimes it's long, sometimes it's short, but I don't know how to live without a leash now. A little scary sometimes. It's how they make you feel.
Great. Absolute great that your organization should be focusing on. It really is. Because we talked a little bit about recidivism, and for you guys out there, recidivism is returning to prison, and you return to prison because you fucked up. You fucked up because you didn't have any options, or you're just criminally minded. So basically in the United States, there are two kinds of people. Bottom line. Take it right up to the executive branch. It's going on now. There are two kinds of people. Those who bend the rules until they break knowingly.
Yeah.
And those who just flat don't give a shit in the first place, and they blame everything around them. Oh, I was raised badly. Oh, I'm poor. Oh, I'm racially discriminated against. Oh, I'm this. I think we've proved by now that we're tackling those problems, and if you really push it, you can make it work for you without breaking rules and getting yourself thrown in prison, including myself. I got a little bit too big for my britches, had a lot of money to play with, and even though I wasn't into, fooling around on my wife and whatnot, I still had other vices that got me into bad lanes of traffic. So now I'm getting ready to come off paper. Is there some fears there? I want you to realize, guys, there are. Because now, according to the law, they have to leave you the hell alone. You can drive your car and not have fear of being stopped and searched just because they can't. But then do they really let you go because now they still have it tethered? Go ahead, Sean.
May I just because you're off paper, you have a rap sheet. You get pulled over, they're going to see that rap sheet. They don't care if you're off paper. You have that rap sheet. You're treated actually sometimes worse because now you're not on probation or parole. And that kind of angers the fact that they don't have that power over you. So they're going to come up with other ways. You have a rap sheet. That doesn't go away. It's almost, you're not free anymore. You still have the rap sheet. And expungement doesn't take it away. It just puts it in parentheses that you've been expunged. It's still on your record. You have to get it pardoned from the president if you're federal, and then get it permanently removed, which rarely happens. Expungement is only half the way there. You still live with that rap sheet.
I'm glad that you mentioned that, because for those of you who are getting sucked down that road, on a federal beef, there is no such thing as expungement. You cannot expunge a federal beef. Let me tell you what the cop sees when they're in the car. And believe me, I fucking well know this. All too well. The cop calls in on his computer because, way back in the day, in the 80s and the 70s, you had computers. They were in cars. You could see what was going on. But back then, the screen came up blue if you were a convicted felon. Now, when they run you, they run 1027s, 28s, and 29s, and sometimes 30s. Now what you get, and those are all, sorry guys, those are all codes for certain types of searches. Driver's license, NCIC, CI&I, all these searches take place to find out if you're a criminal, you got any wants or warrants on you, even if you have traffic accidents, registration, immigration. It's all wrapped into one gig. So if you're a convicted felon, the screen automatically pops up red in the car. It has a red highlighter. The officer in the car knows automatically he's dealing with a felon. If you are not a person who has any problems at all, it's a gray line on the screen, just an outline of the screen. If you have immigration issues, it comes up in green. These color code systems aren't advertised to anybody. You don't see them on TV because it gives the officer an instant view of what he may or may not be dealing with. And I hate to tell you, even if you were a financial crimes guy, they still think you might be carrying a weapon. So your simple traffic stop turns into a life and death situation. You're never really off the hook. But once you get out, the borders go away. Once your paper's dead, the borders go away. However, the printout shows your conviction. And it's on their screen. If they read it, they'll see it. Most of them are looking just to see if you're active warrant or not. They're not really looking at your history. But Sean's right. It never goes away. There is no pardon for federal crimes. Expunge. Pardon is the only way. And that comes through the president of the United States. And that's not going to happen because, I'm sorry, Joe and I just aren't that close. Oh, and Donald, he and I had a falling out a while back over the size of his ego. So I can't really get anything out of that. But anyway, those things don't happen. So now you have to make yourself as appealing as not. And don't fall into the trip and story about, oh, I can bury my shit on the internet so deep into pages 18 and 20 on the search engine that nobody's going to ever see it. They'll see it. And unless you got 20 grand, you are not going to hire a company that's going to bury your history far enough back to where you can go and apply for a job. But remember, every time you apply for a job now, ban the box in California says they can't ask how old you are. But what they can do is they can ask, when did you graduate high school? Well, in my case, I graduated high school in 1970. Well, let's see, the math from 1970 to 2023 pretty much tells you how old I am. They can't discriminate against age, race, or sex. So you see, guys, for everything you do, there's a way around it for the system to work against you. And I promise you, the system will definitely work against you, but you'll never be told that. You have to use your head. You have to educate yourself. You have to understand what you're facing. For me, and I'm going to get into this real quick, I'm 71 years old. I have maybe 10 years left in my working life. I have no savings because they took everything from me. God bless them, enjoy. I'm glad they did. However, I have to build a full-on retirement beyond $1,400 a month in Social Security, which you can never live on, in the next 9 to 10 years, or I have to buy a really good tent and a camp stove and maybe a very heavy plastic bag run so that I got a place to take a crap in. And I think I'm going to go out in the desert because I don't want to live in the streets.
Or maybe you move to Belize. You leave the country maybe, or go live in.
Yeah,
Wyoming,
I'll have just enough money
maybe,
to buy. I'll have just enough money to buy a plane ticket to go someplace else so I can live in poverty as well. Yeah, it's just what I want to do. You get the point, guys, right? The point is that if you don't plan for yourself, nobody else is going to do it for you. So you have to look at all your options and you have to think clearly. And then you have to be proactive. Those of you who are younger think you're 10 foot tall and bulletproof. Yeah, you sure as hell are, you piece of shit. You're not 10 foot tall. You're not bulletproof. You're just a big mouth punk who's trying to act like a man. Real men use their minds.
And you're not special.
Say again.
And you're not special. Any of it. You're not special.
No, you're not special and you're not exempt for any of it. All it means is you're going to live with it twice as long because you're younger. So plan yourself out of it. Figure out how to do it because no one's going to hand it to you. You're not going to meet the dream girl who's going to have a rich father and mother who give you everything under the sun. And when you fall back into the crime pattern that you have, it's because you did not plan for your release. I know that when they release me from my paper, I'm still in jeopardy for the next 5 years, straight up. I know it. They have options to come after me, and my whole job is to not give it to them. Pay my taxes, pay my restitution figure, try to get as low as possible because I don't make a lot of money. Fill out my financial worth statements every 6 months so that they can't come after me for lying about it because it's on your release papers. Read the shit or hire somebody that can or go to somebody that knows.
And
Go ahead.
Can I throw this in, Chris? Even if you think you're a thug, a gangster, you might think that you're affiliated and all this stuff. I'm going to tell you this, and I know from the sources that I did time with, the cartel doesn't even hire you back till 10 years after you're off paper. They don't even want you back for 10 years.
Why in the hell would they hire you back? They set your ass up in the first place. Who the fuck are you kidding? Those young kids that we were in jail that were under 25 years old in federal prison for transporting narcotics across the borders of the United States were turned in by their own people. Why? As a diversion at the border so they could burn the car and ship the truckload. Who are you kidding? How many times did you hear it?
Me and you know this, Chris. Me and you know this. We know this, but they don't know this.
They're not going to believe it because that's their family. Mia familia. Yeah. They took good care of you. They patted you on the head. They gave you food. They gave you clothing. They make you feel like you're important. But you're a sacrificial pawn. When it comes down to it, you're done. You want to live by that code?
Yeah.
You want that life expectancy? Go ahead. But regardless, you're still going to get out of prison one day or another if you're not dead. Okay? And believe me, you're not going to be out in public working for a tuna package, okay? You're going to be out in public working for real money. My son just got a dream job, working for a company that provides a car.
Yeah.
$21 or $26 an hour.
That's right. You go, you tell him, Chris. Be proud of that.
$26 an hour, provides him a car, a gas card, 401k, full medical, dental, and vision policies. He's 25 years old. That's the job that most men between the ages of 35 and 45 try to get and can't. He didn't get a job. He got a career. What's stopping the rest of you? Opportunity and someone taking an interest, Max, in creating something that allows people to be trained by certified instructors, documented, certificated, and then the job market gets provided because of their contacts. There's so much growth, so many opportunities, so many people to pull back into the real world. When a third of the population of the United States has been in prison and is being held down, where do you think our workforce is at? Where? All of this can change if you are proactive. And believe me, I'm on my release time and I'm concerned because I'm really not clear. I'm really not. And the rest of you, start in the beginning and go to the end. A lot has been said here. I hope that a small portion of it has sunk in. And if not, call the bald-headed guy next to me. Oh, I'm sorry, you do have hair. Call that guy next to me. We got a time delay, or you're not listening to me, Sean. Yeah, check it.
We have a time delay. I don't know why, but we do.
Call him and talk to him. And if he runs out of ideas, I'll give you a few. But remember, guys, no matter what, from the day you enter your
Well, he'll give you more than a few.
Goddamn right I will. From the day you enter your plea, because you're a tough guy, you're going to go into a federal holding facility and you're going to get freaking sick of that place inside of 6 months and beg for them to give you a deal, and you'll take it so that you can keep your goddamn sanity. From the minute you take your plea, you start planning for the day you get released. If you don't, you're going back. I promise you. Sean and I both know somebody.
And hopefully that's why you're watching now.
Hoping. Sean and I have met people. We talked about somebody he and I both know last night. We talked about this person. All this person knows is his biker gang. And after serving 22 years already, and he's 44 years old, he got a 21-year-old son. He's only seen him twice. And every time he gets out, because he's a tough guy, the sergeant at arms turns around and gets resentenced. Why? Because nobody has taught him anything or taken that interest, or he's planned for himself and figured out another way to make a living other than selling drugs out of the saddlebags on a scoot. Or to be hanging around people who are going to do nothing but what we just had happen 2 nights ago. Oh, this is righteous. This guy pulls into a biker bar that actually serves family meals on Tuesdays because it's a local hangout. It's the oldest biker bar in California. It's in the news. The guy walks in, caps his ex-wife, shoots her in the face, shoots her dining partner, which is another lady, and then opens fire on the whole damn place. He was an ex-police officer, a sergeant, and they were going through a divorce. Why was he even in the place? Why was he there? Why did she go there? You see, guys, habits are hard to break, and if you don't break the habits of criminal intentions or criminal behavior, release and try to straighten out a few things in your world, you're going to be right back where you started. And I don't want to be like that guy. 44 years old, 22 years of his life spent in prison. What does he know? He knows what a packet of tuna looks like wrapped in foil. I goddamn well guarantee you that. And he damn sure knows what a cup of noodles look like.
Yeah.
That's how you want to gauge the value
Where
of your
he's
life.
going, Chris, they use stamps, not foil.
They use what?
They use stamps. They don't use meats. That they're the hierarchy uses stamps. You know.
Yeah, well, you know, I told my son a story about stamps. It
For
got
money.
so bad I needed to send out some papers to the government because they requested them from me from probation. I had no money. I had no stamps, but I had envelopes that they had sent me. So I steamed the stamp off of them. I used a toothpaste diluted solution to take the cancellation mark off the stamp, glued it, and sent it right back to them. Now, if that's not criminal minding, I don't know what is, but you see what you're forced to do over a lousy goddamn postage stamp? The system really works for you. I'm telling you, Sean, there's so much for us to explore. But you guys out there, I'm pretty well winded out. I want you to realize from the day you accept
it's been an hour. I do need to wrap it up too.
Yeah. From the day you accept a deal, you're planning for your way to get out. Educate yourself on what's available to you, how you can restart and jumpstart your life, because you are breathing air. You're still alive. You never give in, you never quit, and you never let them see you sweat ever. And you just carry on. And stop
if you do less than 10 years, that's the easy part. Getting out and back into the world, that's going to be the hard part for you.
It is. And hey, people like Sean, people like myself, not as aggressive as Sean, we can help. We can tell you what you can look forward to. We can say what's out there. And you need to stop smoking.
And I see you using your real name on there. You have your real first name there. Antone?
Why shouldn't I?
I've never used it before.
It's Christopher Antone Thomas
Progress.
And years ago, it was S.A.
That's Progress, because you never would use that name before.
Nope, never would. You know why? There were too many people out there who were looking to jack up my life even
tell me why.
further. There were people out there who were looking to jack up my life even further. When you get released, did you know that the people that you messed with, the people that you if you were involved in multiple defendants and there were victims, they have a right to know your address upon your release? And probation gives them all the information they want. Yes. So they can make it rough for you. They can contact your employers. I'm sorry?
I didn't know they had a right. I thought maybe they could find it, but I didn't know they had a right.
Nope.
Wow.
They are given that information upon the release. When you go to the halfway house, they're giving it. That's what the restitution is all about. So, guys, a lot's been said. I've said a lot. I don't know how much of it you absorbed. But, Sean, it's there. There's a lot more that can be done. And the only limitations are, truthfully, laziness, education, desire to carry forward and succeed. All of these things can all be fixed.
And here, right here, guys.
Got to have a lot of heart. Thank God mine's still ticking.
Hey, we got 7 people that stuck with us the whole time. Thank you. Thank you, people. 7 people are still on here. God bless you. Thank you. You
I
just
hope
might
they
be
don't
the
think I'm
winners.
full of shit, because I've got the freaking rap sheet to prove it. So, Sean, thank you for letting me voice that. Be concerned about getting off paper side, giving people a few things.
Anytime, you are welcome. You know that, my friend. Anytime.
All right, then. I'm going to talk with you later. You folks out there, have a wonderful day.
Have a great night at work.
Yep. Yeah, I go to work later tonight. The 7 people that stuck through it.
Starting your day now.
Out of it.
Yep.
And you guys have a good luck and good future. All right, Sean. Cheers.
Thanks for watching. Don't forget to subscribe and hit that like button, guys. And my number's underneath all the videos. You can call anytime, okay? Thank you, guys.